right now. They're talking about him. Look at it. This is the latest. Look at him. Here he goes again. Well, you know what here he goes again means? He's doing what he said he was going to do.
Oh, is he? Oh, he's doing what he said he was going to do? Oh, is he? Remember when he said repeatedly he had absolutely nothing to do with Project 2025 and Project 2025 has some wacky ideas and he's not going to do it? And a time analysis has found nearly 2/3 of the executive actions Trump has issued mirror or partially mirror proposals from Project 2025. In some ways, he's doing the exact opposite of what he said he was going to do. Make America great again. America first. America first. So why did he sign an executive order that raises drug prices on day one? Why did he sign an executive order that green lights corruption among his cabinet members on day one? Why did he pardon 1,500 January 6 rioters and insurrectionists, including many of which were cop beaters, and one of them was a Fredophile? Why? Is that what Americans voted for him for? Please, please, release the Fredophiles. Release the cop beaters. Release the guy who wore a sweatshirt that said Camp Auschwitz on it. Is that what Americans were clamoring for? Is that Trump keeping his word? Is that what it is? Just falling hook, line, and sinker for all the right-wing narratives. All the right-wing narratives.
Capitol Hill and fights the fights that we want them fighting on our behalf. They didn't do that. And that's why their behinds are home. And that man is back into the White House. And they want to sit up there and show you, look at the networks right now. They're talking about him. Look at it. This is the latest. Look at him. Here he goes again. Well, you know what here he goes again means? He's doing what he said he was going to do. He promised you he was going to do these things, and he walked into office week one, and that's exactly what he's doing. And he's saying, y'all do something about it. And when you try to do something about it, he's going to say, look at them now. Now they're concerned about these issues. Were they talking about that during the campaign? Hell no. That's really it.
I mean, look, this is just a rewriting of history. That's literally all it is. It's just a complete and utter rewriting of history. The idea that on the campaign trail, while Trump was talking about real issues and Kamala was talking about fake issues, it was Kamala who was running on a $6,000 child tax credit. Kamala was running on it. It was Kamala who said, we're going to ban price gouging for groceries. She was talking about actual serious issues. And she did not mention race, gender, trans people, pronouns, Latinx, cancel culture, political correctness. She repeatedly said she would represent all Americans. On the issue of the border, she ran to the right, even though everybody now is pretending like she didn't at all. She talked about owning a gun, ran on freedom and patriotism. Like, on certain issues, she did the thing that everybody says, oh, you should do that. She did it. And that didn't fucking work. That didn't work. And everybody just ignored this stuff on reducing medical debt and banning price gouging and the $6,000 child tax credit. And even to his point about like, well, what about the promise of the Democrats? They didn't do anything. Do you want to compare record for record? Is that what you want to do? You want to talk about Trump's record versus the record of the Democrats? We can do that. We can have that conversation. I mean, part of the problem was that Biden was incapable of actually making any case whatsoever. So he never brought up, hey, I did student loan reduction and tried 3 different ways to get it through, even with the Supreme Court blocking me. We did $1,400 stimulus checks. We pulled out of Afghanistan like we said we were going to do. We did project labor agreements for construction workers, which raises their pay. We overturned the Supreme Court when they tried to slap down the EPA from being able to regulate for the environment. We did $15 minimum wage for federal contractors and employees. That's like 400,000 workers. We funded Obamacare to the tune of $64 billion. We added 800,000 manufacturing jobs. We did the CHIPS Act. We did the Infrastructure Bill. We did the Inflation Reduction Act. We did the 15% corporate minimum tax rate. Yeah, part of the problem was he wasn't able to make those cases because he's 1,000 years old. But Stephen A., this is where I flip it on you and I say, you're in the media. You want to get involved in political commentary. Why are you not educating people on it? You have the ability to read about these things and learn about these things and talk about these things. And instead of going out there and telling people the truth, giving people the reality, he plays this game where he pretends like, bro, Trump is doing what he said and the Democrats are not doing what they said and the Democrats are obsessed with trans issues and they run on that, even though they literally didn't run on that and they're not obsessed with it. And Kamala didn't even fucking mention it. I mean, this is hopping on the fucking bandwagon. That's what this is. Hopping on the MAGA bandwagon. Everybody, I love how even now in a scenario, we have Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican presidency. They have the trifecta. They have total control. Trump broke the record on day one with executive orders, like 98% of them all bad. And people are still out there like, oh, the fucking Democrats, bro. What will it take for you to focus on the people who actually have the power, who are actually doing the bad things right now, as we speak, right now? And the answer is there's nothing. Why? Because everybody's going like this. Where's the cultural and political winds blowing? I'm with you, Americans. I'm with you, even though it's a misreading of the situation because Trump only won the popular vote by 1.4 percentage points. And there was a number of polls that just came out, by the way, I should be clear about this, where like all of the main things Trump is doing, they were polled, all of them are unpopular, everyone. But no, why talk about that when you can go back to the fucking well that never runs dry of no matter what happens, let's shit on the Democrats and shit on liberals and shit on leftists. But I'm not done. So there's Stephen A. Smith's contribution. But now we're going to go to Bill Maher's.
Here's what's so interesting about this. The reaction from different generations. Older people think it's bad to shoot a guy in the street.
Talking about Luigi Mangione here and the far left.
Or somewhat acceptable, where only 9% find it so extra. Which confirms something I wish wasn't true, but unfortunately is about, certainly not all, but too many Gen Zers. They're fucking stupid.
So this is his smug contribution to the political dialogue in this country after Donald Trump won the White House, Republicans won the House and the Senate, and Trump just broke the number of executive orders he signed in the first day, where 98% of them were horrifically terrible, like raising drug prices, pardoning 1,500 January 6th offenders, 45% of which were violent and committed felonies, increased corruption for his cabinet in the White House. These are the executive orders he signed. This is Bill Maher's contribution. The week where he can and should be talking about what Trump is actually doing now that he has the power, this is his contribution. Isn't Gen Z fucking stupid? Aren't they stupid? Please, I'm Bill Maher. Okay.
I don't know what they're teaching them in college these days, but they all seem to have majored in simplicity. Oppressed and oppressor. No in between. Healthcare, good guys and bad guys. Simple. When Trump said nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated, he was wrong. It's not complicated. It's simple. It's as simple as shooting your insurance agent. Bad guys get shot. Hello, you never saw John Wick? Yeah, I'm thinking now maybe it wasn't a great idea to make every single movie about someone who's a hitman. And so here I am again, feeling like an old school liberal at odds with the new politics of the far left. Because
again, Republicans just got power across the government. Trump signing a bunch of horrific executive orders, things that Bill Maher would agree with if you take him at his word previously. And he said, the far left is so stupid, bro. They have nothing. Zero power. Zero cultural sway. Nothing. And that's what you're focusing on? The first week of Trump's time in office?
Wasn't that long ago when liberals thought shooting people who don't share your politics was bad. Or at least a microaggression.
Bill Maher is doing what I like to call here the cult of fake nuance. Where he's like, bro, you guys are saying healthcare is simple and you should just shoot the insurance executive. And I'm saying it's actually really complicated, bro, and that doesn't really solve it. Oh, really? That doesn't systemically fix our healthcare system to murk the health insurance exec? I didn't know that. We didn't know that. No, of course we fucking know that. Of course we know the nuts and the bolts and dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's is a very difficult thing. But the core of the point here is we have vicious mafia middlemen who are parasites and moochers, and they are robbing you. They are getting in between you and your doctor and taking their cut. That is a huge problem. Other developed countries don't have a mafia middleman. They don't have for-profit health insurance. They have the government is the single payer, the single insurer. So you pay taxes, that money goes to many things, but one of the things it goes towards is when you get sick, you get help, and that's the end of the conversation, and you don't get a fucking bill for it. So yes, in some ways, it's a complicated conversation. In other ways, Bill, it's actually not so complicated. Not everything should be for fucking profit. And this is something you used to know and you used to talk about, except now, after Republicans gain total control of the government, you want to come out here and shit on the far left.
Doesn't pumping someone full of lead verge dangerously close to mansplaining? And what about gun control? When Sarah Palin posted a map with crosshairs on the districts of House Democrats she hoped to defeat in 2010, liberals went nuts. But now, vigilantism is okay.